I realized I never actually made a video on this weapon, despite the fact that it happens to be my most used secondary weapon. So I think it's about high time I look at the build that I use for the Light of 1,000 Stars, also known as the Synoid Gammacor. Here we are in the simulacrum with Mag Prime and the Synoid Gammacor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up against these Corrupt Heavy Gunners as well as these Nullifiers. And right from the start, this weapon doesn't do a whole lot of damage, because of the way that I built this weapon, of course. These days, a lot of weapons and a lot of builds will require some ramp up, so that's what we're going to be relying on a lot. But as you can see, as we start to get some of those kills, it is starting to ramp up really nicely. Now, what we're also going to do is we're going to unpause these enemies now, but we're going to make myself invincible so that I don't have to worry about some shenanigans, because this weapon is actually really good at taking out nullifier bubbles. And the nullifiers that happen to be inside the nullifier bubbles as well. And now that I've ramped up those kills, I can of course start killing everyone else really easily as well. Now I see a lot of nullifier bubbles, but that's not going to be an issue because this weapon has a really high fire rate. So I can just do that. Like so. Just like that. So, let's have a look at the build that we're using with the Synoid Gammacor. And this is the build that we're using with the Synoid Gammacor. It's going to be a 5-former build, and you're going to need all that former if you want to use the Riven as well. So the idea is that we're going to be using a triple galvanized build. We're using galvanized crosshairs because I love my headshots, and this weapon doesn't do a whole lot of damage over time, if any damage over time. So that's why I don't have any problem with getting headshot kills. We're using galvanized diffusion because that extra multi-shot is always a good choice. And we're also going to be using galvanized shot. Now you may be thinking, wait, hold on, the Synoid Gammacor only provides 2 status effects on a build like this. Surely that's not that good, right? Not exactly. Because we have a galvanized mod that apparently stacks 3 times as opposed to 2 times for galvanized aptitude, I believe. This actually turns out pretty good. When you get those 3 stacks, you are doing 120% damage per status type, and we have 2 status types, which means we're doing 240% extra damage. So that's of course going to be really good. It's effectively a stronger version of Hornet Strike. And of course we're pairing that with something like Secondary Deadhead, so we do end up stacking in that damage as well. Aside from that, we have good old-fashioned 60/60 viral. We have our Prime crit mods. Now I could be using something like Creeping Bullseye instead of Prime Pistol Gambit, but that would involve another former. And I don't really want to do that because I put this in way before the Creeping Bullseye buff, so I'm not going to bother. But we're also going to be using Gammacor Acrocron with that extra crit damage, extra crit chance, and of course a small negative to the reload speed. That reload speed negative is actually not that big a deal, honestly. As you can see in the demonstration, we're still able to reload the Light of 1,000 Stars pretty damn easily. And of course we're going to be using Spry Spites. Because I have the space, I decided to just put it in. Alternatives could also include something like Energizing Shot, which I think could be a really powerful option, but I personally am not a fan of using it because it just simply requires me to just stop the whole rigmarole and then aim at an energy orb, when I'm more likely to just grab it because I have vacuum on my mower, or because I'm mag, so I basically grab it whenever I do a good old-fashioned bullet jump. So not really into using Energizing Shot, but if you're into using Energizing Shot, it's definitely a good idea. So that's pretty much it. Really powerful build for a really powerful weapon. This weapon, of course, is really good at taking out nullifiers. I find that not only because of the magnetic damage and because of the viral damage, but also because it's a fast firing weapon. You can take out those shields, you can take out those nullifiers pretty damn easily. But what it also seems to be really good at dealing with are sister hounds. For whatever reason, the hounds can be really tanky to things like my arrows, and I'm not 100% sure why, but this magnetic damage that comes from the Synoid Gammacor, that is actually quite innate, by the way, seems to be really good at destroying the shields of the hounds because it's magnetic damage, but then also destroying the hounds as well, which makes it a very good choice in my opinion for dealing with that shit. Now, against the sisters, it's also a pretty good choice as well because again, the magnetic damage and also the viral damage tends to be really helpful. But at that point, I probably am more likely to use it as a primer so that I can then shoot them in one shot with my arrows, because that might be a good idea as well. But that's pretty much it. Let me know if they've got all of this in the comments below. Do you use the Synoid Gammacor? Let me know in the comments. Another thing that you can keep an eye on with the Synoid Gammacor, because it is a Synoid weapon from Cephalon Suda, is that if you manage to get enough XP onto the weapon, it will explode and do a gigantic magnetic proc to all nearby enemies, but at the same time, it'll give you some extra energy. And this can also go over your energy capacity, so something to keep an eye on. You can use this as a way of getting in some energy as well. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Warframe content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.